My name is Jennifer Wellborn, and I'm the author of a book called Dr. Rosie Helps the Animals, and it's based on my husband, who's a wildlife veterinarian. Just before you start, I didn't have that. The back of the book? Yeah. So the way the book started, and I know you guys are a little bit old, but picture books are always fun, is my husband, he takes care of giraffes and zebras and rhinos. He goes to zoos, he travels all around, and he was at Tufts Veterinary Hospital, and he was taking care of a baby giraffe, and it had a neck, yeah, I know, that's some baby, right? It had a neck bandage on it, and then he sent me this picture, and I thought, it must be hard to be a giraffe. You have this big neck and have something wrong with your neck, right? That's kind of rough. So then I thought to myself, I was wondering, do giraffes get sore throats? And when he came home, I asked him that, and he said, well, yeah, they get sore throats. And then I thought about rabbits with their ears. Do they get earaches like kids? What do you think he said? Yes. Yes. So then I said, pigs with stomach aches. Do they get stomach aches like kids? Yes. So all the animals that are in the book, and this is the illustrator, who was a colleague of mine when I thought of this idea, so she illustrated it. She's going to read it to you. All the animals in the book for real get the same things that kids get, which is amazing, actually. So that you can keep that in mind. And she's going to be using, or in the book, the little girl uses natural treatments, which is why you're here, because you're going to learn the science about why do they work, how do they work, and why do they work. And you guys are old enough to understand that. Usually I give this to little bitty kids, and there's no way they would understand that. They just want to play, you know. But so I can see you guys are all interested in this. So are there any questions before we start? Actually, I wanted to say one more thing. Speaking of veterinarians, how many people have ever gotten an animal from a shelter before? Okay, so this woman, I'm going to show you a picture of her, and I've been in contact with her. She's now in her 70s, but do you mind holding? She invented shelter medicine. So before she invented shelter medicine, animals that were put in shelters, no one took care of them. Like if they had a cut, they didn't take care of them. If they were in pain, they didn't help them. Because they thought, well, they're a shelter, no one really cares about them. But we know we care about them, right? So she invented, and she wrote a textbook about how you can take care of animals that are in shelters. And she developed some of the things that we're using today that don't cost a lot of money because shelters don't have a lot of money sometimes. So you could put ice inside of a sock to make something cold. You know, you can use different things like you have at home to help animals feel better, and they work, okay? So you don't have to spend a bunch of money. Is that making sense? Any questions from anybody? Okay, so we're gonna have the illustrator. This is on our website. We have a free open source website with science lesson plans on it. If anybody wants to go there, find out more about the animals. Okay. Yeah.
Hello everyone. My name's Rosie, and I'll be reading to you today. And today's book we're going to read is Dr. Rosie Helps the Animals. It is written by Jennifer Wellborn and is illustrated by Rosie, which is me. Rosie loved to help animals, just like her mom. On days that weren't so busy, Rosie's mom let her watch and ask questions. Rosie had lots of questions. Rosie's mom always looked carefully to see what was wrong. It looks like this poor puppy has a laceration on his ear, Mom told Rosie. This means he has a small cut. As Rosie watched, her mom washed the cut and then got a jar of honey. Why are you giving the puppy honey? Rosie asked. This special honey kills germs, her mom explained. Remember when I gave you tea with honey for your sore throat? Rosie nodded. The honey had made her throat feel better. Now what are you doing? Rosie asked. I'm checking to make sure everything else is okay, Mom said. Do you have to use this cactus on the puppy? Rosie asked, eyeing a plant in the corner of the room. Mom smiled. It's not a cactus, it's an aloe plant. The liquid in the leaves helps skin feel better. Rosie looked around some more. What's this hat for? It's called a compress, Mom explained. If you put ice inside, it can help bring down swelling. If you put hot water inside, it can help with pain. Sometimes people use natural treatments, such as honey, aloe, ice, and heat to help animals feel better. Mom took the compress and put it on Rosie's head so she could see what it felt like. Rosie giggled. She still thought it looked like a silly hat. After watching her mom, Rosie felt confident enough to help real-life animals. "Hi, Rabbit. Why are you scratching your ears? Do they hurt you?" Rosie could not imagine having an earache with ears that big. Rosie lifted one ear and peered inside. They looked very red. Rosie remembered how the liquid from an aloe plant can help skin feel better, so she put some in the rabbit's ears and rubbed them a bit. "There you go, Rabbit. You'll feel better in no time." Behind her, Rosie heard a grunt. She turned and saw a pig. "Poor pig, look at your big tummy. Did you eat too much?" "Lie down and rest, and no more snacking." Rosie kissed the pig's tummy. Kisses always help. Feeling good about the small animals she'd helped, Rosie set off to find some bigger animals. Soon she spied a group of giraffes. They were all eating but one. "Poor giraffe, why aren't you eating?" Rosie asked. Rosie thought for a minute. Sometimes when her throat hurt, she didn't like to eat either. She wondered if that might be the giraffe's problem. Rosie wanted to take a look, but the giraffe was really tall. "Oh my," Rosie said when she finally got a look inside the giraffe's throat. "You do have a very long, very sore throat." Rosie remembered how tea with honey had helped when her throat was sore. "Here, try this," she said, as she gave the giraffe water with honey in it. Rosie climbed down and set off to find other big animals. Suddenly, she felt a tap on her shoulder. She turned around to see an elephant panting. "Why are you breathing like that?" Rosie asked. "Is your trunk stuffed?" Rosie thought it must be awful to have a stuffy nose that big. She thought. "When my nose is stuffed, Mom puts salt water in it." By the time Rosie finished with the elephant, she was hot and thirsty. She decided to look for water. As she was driving, she came upon some ostriches running really fast, all of them but one. Rosie slowed down to get a closer look and saw the ostrich was limping. It had a skin knee. "Silly ostrich, did you fall while you were running?" Rosie put a dollop of honey on the knee and an ostrich-sized bandage on top. "A bandage always helps. Now try to slow down, okay?" Rosie tried to pat the ostrich on the back, but her hand got lost in its fluffy feathers. Finally, Rosie reached a stream. As she bent down to get some water, she spotted a baby crocodile. It was drooling and its mouth looked swollen. Rosie wondered if the crocodile might be getting more teeth, even though it already had so many. Ever so carefully, she pried open its mouth. "Poor guy, your new teeth are making your gums sore." Rosie remembered when her baby brother was teething. Her mom had given him something cold to chew on. Then she had rubbed his gums. Rosie didn't have anything cold with her, so she carefully rubbed its gums with her finger. Rosie finished with the crocodile and took a sip of water, but she was still hot, so she decided to take a dip in the ocean. As she swam, she came upon an octopus holding its head with all of its arms. Rosie wondered what the octopus was hiding. She bravely peeled two of the arms away and saw what was wrong. "Now I see. You have a big bump on your head. Did you bump it in your den?" Rosie remembered the silly hat her mom had put on her head. Maybe it could help with the swollen bump. She gently put it on the octopus's head and held it in place. Looking up, Rosie saw a spotted beluga whale watching her curiously. She had never heard of a spotted beluga, and she'd always wanted to touch a beluga's soft skin, so she swam closer. Suddenly, Rosie realized the spots were not spots at all, but patches of rashes. Rosie remembered having a rash once. It had been itchy and she had been miserable. Then she remembered how aloe liquid had helped when the rabbit's ears hurt. Maybe aloe could help with an itchy rash as well. So she gently rubbed a piece of aloe leaf on a rash patch. Soon, the beluga whale began to feel better. Rosie swam to the surface of the water. It was time to go home. It was late, and she was hungry. As she surfaced, she noticed an iceberg floating by. She quickly climbed on, hoping the iceberg would float her back home. But there were two other travelers on the iceberg. One was a shivering polar bear. The other was a snowy owl. Rosie found it strange that a polar bear with its thick, warm coat would be shivering, but she recalled when she had been both hot and shivering at the same time. It was when she'd had a fever. Poor bear, I think you might have a fever. Rosie knew there was only one way to tell. She had to take the bear's temperature. Yes, you do. Lie down, get some rest, make sure to drink plenty of water. Next to her, the owl let out a big sneeze. Rosie saw that its eyes were red and swollen. That's how I look when I pet a cat, Rosie thought. Maybe the owl has allergies, like me. Rosie noticed that the owl was awfully close to the polar bear. Maybe it was allergic to the polar bear. Rosie carefully opened the owl's eyelids and put some salt drops inside. Then she got the hat and put it under her parka to warm it up. When it felt nice and warm, she gently placed it over the owl's eyes. Since owls were used to the darkness, it didn't seem to mind. Then she gave the owl a big hug. It's a special day when you can hug an owl, she thought. Rosie! Rosie! Rosie jumped, startled by the noise. Time to get up, Rosie. Looks like you had a good nap. I guess you were tired, huh? Rosie rubbed her eyes. She had fallen asleep in her mom's exam room. Now that you're rested, I thought you might like to come with me. I just got a call about a sick polar bear on an iceberg who needs our help. The end. I hope you enjoyed the story, and I hope you have a nice rest of your day.
Thank you. So we're going to do some experiments, okay? But before I do that, I want to tell you some funny things. When I got in touch with the people that worked with the animals, like a woman, she's a veterinarian that works right with elephants, and I emailed her and I said, what do you do when an elephant has a stuffy nose? And she said, well, if it sneezes, I have to get out of the way. That's a true story. And then they have this big vat of salt water, and they actually put salt water with a big hose through their trunk. For real, that's real. And then I contacted a person who works, she's a veterinarian that works specifically with giraffes. She was in Namibia, and I said, what do you do when a giraffe gets a sore throat? She said, first I get a ladder, then I get a flashlight, and then I get a long swab. This is true. They swab their throats out to find out what's it. Just like people, I know it's kind of, I couldn't believe it actually. Octopuses, when they're in the wild, don't bump their head very much, but if they're in an aquarium, like if you go and visit them in an aquarium, one thing they say is don't use a flash bulb or have your flash go off because they get startled by light. And then they can swim into the aquarium, and then they will bump their head. So that's something to be careful of. Polar bears, when they get fevers, I said, what do you do when a polar bear has a fever? Well, first of all, they put them to sleep, and then they don't know how much they weigh, so they don't give them any medicine. You need to know how much something weighs to give them medicine, but they pack snow underneath their armpits, just like they do with kids. They'll do that to bring their temperature down. Crocodiles get teeth their whole life, because they don't have hard enamel on them, so they keep breaking them, so they keep getting them. I think that's all the ones that were, it was just really fun to research all these different things. So, does anybody remember what did she use salt water for? Does anybody remember what he used salt water for? You do, you remember? Yeah.
The elephant with a stuffy nose.
The elephant with a stuffy nose. And when you have, I'm going to put something in here. When you have a stuffy nose, do you know why it's stuffed? Anybody know it's like in your, I mean, I'm going to say besides snots, but what else is in your nose? I taught 7th grade. I can do this. What else is in, what makes it stuffy? Anybody, you know?
It's germs.
It is germs, and then germs do what? Do you know? What?
Infected.
Infected, yeah. Well, I'm going to show you something, okay? And that's this. Then we're going to have an idea about what happens here. I need a...
We don't have enough. Oh.
You don't have what? What am I missing? Oh, here. I'm going to show you something, and this may give you an idea of why you have a stuffy nose. It's kind of weird, but it's an idea.
What is that?
I'm going to ask you what it is. Don't eat it. No eating.
Is it? I think it's a gummy bear. One of the gummy
Why do you think that? Oh, it looks like a gummy bear, but you're not sure, are you?
I can taste it to see if it tastes like
Oh, no tasting anything. Nope.
Why not? Why not?
That's cheating. And plus, in science, you don't taste stuff.
It's a gummy bear. I smell it. But gummy bears are delicious.
I know. I forgot you? Oh.
What about the gummy bears?
You guys are going to keep me on my toes here. Okay. So, we think it is a gummy bear, right? Yeah. Okay. But it doesn't really look like a gummy bear, and it was in water. What do you think happened? Expanded because it absorbed the water, okay? It absorbed the water. So in your nose, when you have a stuffy nose, the skin has got a lot of water in it, right? So how do you think we would get the water out? Don't squeeze it, don't touch it, don't eat it. But them, how to get the water out of the, yeah, blow your nose, but how to get water out of the, what did they use for the stuffy nose?
Salt water.
Salt water, okay. So I'm going to give you a little bit of salt, and I want you to share. Just go around and open it up and put a little bit of salt on there, okay? A little bit of salt on, and make sure you share because you're all... Just a little... Put it on top. You want help opening it? Put the salt on the gummy bear, just a little bit. You want help? You okay? Got it. You want a spoon to try?
They're having a hard time opening it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know how to told us how to. Doesn't look like it's melting.
You can put more salt on if you want. You want a spoon?
Salt will make it shrink.
Ah, I wonder if salt will make it shrink. Ah. What's that?
Why can't we pour the whole thing on it?
You can. You can pour the whole thing on it if you want. Whoa. Now you really don't want to eat those, right? A watery, salty gummy bear. Well,
Watery salty gummy bear doesn't actually seem half bad.
you must be close to 7th grade.
Yes, I am.
How do I know that? It's like everything I would give them, they'd be like, can we eat it? I'm just like, oh my gosh, you guys, it's a pencil. Right? Can we eat it? No, we can't. Okay, so we're going to let that sit for a moment, okay? But we have an idea about what might happen. Because somebody said the water might come out because of the salt. How many people think that might happen? The water might come out because of the salt. What do you guys think?
Salt absorbs water, same as rice.
Yes, salt absorbs water. So if you have a stuffy nose, you can put salt in it, and it'll take the stuffiness out because it brings the water out. And it also, they'll say it moisturizes your nose, right? If your nose is dry, because the water will come out of where it is in there, and it'll make your nose moisturized. That's how it works. This is a high-level word called osmosis. Oof. But anyway, that's for real. That's how it works. Here's another demonstration I want to show you. We're going to wait on that a bit till we see if it happens where the gummy bears get smaller. Yeah?
How long did it be in water for?
Not very long. Like, I think 2 hours. Wasn't very long. And if you let it in for a really long time, they get really big, but they're really fragile. They get to be like that big.
These normal gummy bears are...
Those you can actually take home and eat. Because I was like, I can't give kids gummy bears and they can't eat them. So that's it. Okay, so now I want you to watch this. Everybody watching? Okay, here is hot water. Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's hot.
All right.
I can see it steaming.
Yeah.
I want to put like some chocolate thing in it and make it hot chocolate.
And then we can eat. No, I'm kidding. Okay. So balloon here has air in it. Okay. If I put it in hot water, anybody have an idea about what might happen?
It's going to blow up.
It's going to blow up. Blow up, get bigger. How many people think it's going to get bigger? Okay, so we're going to watch this.
I think it's already starting to get.
It is.
Oh, look! See, it went straight up. It like. How does it get bigger?
How does it get bigger? Ma.
Bigger, and that.
So why does that happen? Where does that happen?
Because it's making the area inside here hot, and if there's water inside there, it'll create steam, and then the steam will fill the balloon.
Okay. So do you follow the logic there?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other ideas? Yeah.
Maybe it's creating hot air that just blows it up.
Hot air makes it get bigger. When something's bigger, the heat makes it get bigger. How many of you have seen like a hot air balloon?
Where
Right.
fire
Yes.
heat rises. To
Yes.
Also,
And then we used to put a little marshmallow in the microwave oven, and it would get really big. And then I would tell my kids, that's how they make big marshmallows. No, it's not. But they get big, so you can see. Heat makes things get bigger, right?
Yeah.
Okay? So what do you think if we take this out?
Smaller.
It's going to get smaller, and if we put it in the snow outside, it would get really small. Like if it's the colder it is, smaller it's going to get. So why am I talking about this? She said, if you put a hot compress on something, right, it gets rid of pain. Where did I put those? Where's the straw? Oh, yeah. So now I'm going to ask you guys, I'm going to give you 2 straws. And these are supposed to be like blood tubes in your body. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
But your blood goes around in your body through tubes.
We need those.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question in a moment. They're going to be like blood tubes, okay?
A big one and a small one.
A big one and a small one.
I wonder. Okay, this one's. I think this one's gonna be. Yeah, this one's the bigger one.
I give you a small one too? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to ask you guys, how many people have gotten a bump and it swells up really fast? How many people have had that, like an egg, right? They even call it an egg. My kids used to get eggs too often, but do you know what is filling it up? Does anybody know what's happening? What goes into it that makes it fill up? Do you know?
The heat of your blood pressure.
Heat of the blood pressure makes it bigger, okay? And there's also something like water that goes into it, right? So if you can prevent the water from your body going into the bump, it will make it not get bumpy. How many people are following that idea? No? Okay, so which one of these 2 tubes would you think would make water go into something more slowly? The big one or the
The little one would make something go in more slowly.
more slowly, right? And if I gave you a drink and I'd say, okay, which one of these would you use to drink it quickly? You would pick the big one, right? So in your body,
No.
when something gets heated up, your blood tubes will get either bigger or smaller, like the balloon, and they'll let things in and out. So if they get smaller, they'll prevent the water from going into the bump. If they get bigger, they let blood go into the thing and it heals it better. And it also helps with pain. So that actually works. So that's like a model of what happens in your body. You guys following this?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to wait till this goes down. What's happening to the gummy bear now?
It's staying the same.
It's staying the same.
It's not doing.
They're not listening.
I see more water coming out.
You see water coming out. Oh. So the water's coming out. People notice the water's coming out? Okay, yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I also think that there's more water than there used to be, because like there used to be just a bit of water, and now there's like more. There's like a little puddle on it.
Yep, there's a little puddle around it. How many people are seeing there's like a puddle around the gummy bear? It's coming out? Okay. So when somebody puts salt water in somebody's nose, the salt makes water come out and it makes your nose less stuffy, less puffy. Like the gummy bear is going to be less puffy. It's going to be smaller. How many people are following that idea? That's how it works. That's a real thing about how it works. Okay.
But it's still big.
Well, we need to give it a little time. It's a gummy bear. Like, it doesn't do much. Okay. So now what we're going to do is, we want to do the, what are we going to do next? We should do the compress. So one thing that we have that you guys can take with you is, oh, this is great, are these, and they're filled with rice, okay? And so they're going to, and it says on here, parents, microwave 30 seconds. It has it right on there. If you put this in the microwave for 30 seconds, it gets really warm. And then if you have something that doesn't feel very good, you can put it on there. And then you can put it in the freezer, and somebody gets a bump, you can put it on the bump, and then it doesn't let it fill up with fluid, like that little tiny straw. Yeah?
How long do you put it in the freezer?
That doesn't matter. It's the microwave. Yeah. Oh,
Why is it?
it is a cat. Thank you. I was just like, my husband says, is this a cat? Yes, it is a cat. And this cat, these cats have boo-boos. You're going to have to put a suture in. So we're going to have a little bit of sewing for this. So we're going to give you, we could go to different, I don't know how to. How many people? The gummy bears you can take home and eat. Okay? Those are take. You can't eat the cats. Guys are like, are you being fed these days? What's going on?
That's my real cat.
Don't eat your real cat.
Can I have a purple one?
A purple one? So, how many people know how to sew already?
Yeah.
Okay, you have some people, that's excellent. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you some materials. If you know how to sew, you can sew this up and help somebody next to you. Because we're going to help people, right? What do you think? That's, okay.
No. Okay. I'll help you. I know how to sew.
I know how to sew.
I know how to sew.
Yay.
I'm helping Rosie. Sorry.
Okay, we're going to do one more thing. Okay? So, in your bags you have this,
Oh, that's.
okay? This is Epsom salts. And when you put this in water and you, like a bath, it really helps with if you have like a rash or something like that that's itchy. It really helps it feel better. Here's the science behind this one. There was apparently a farmer who noticed that his cows, if they had something wrong on their legs or something, and they walked in water on his farm, particular kind of water, that the water healed their cuts. This is apparently what happened. So he's like, I wonder what's in the water that's making the cows' cuts heal. And then they found out later that there was a lot of magnesium in it. So this is magnesium sulfate, I think it is. And they discovered it quite from a farmer noticing that it helped his cows get healed. So this is good. You put it in bath water.
It also soothes you.
It soothes you, right.
There's some types that soothe you.
Absolutely. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come around and give you aloe vera liquid. This is the liquid from the aloe plant, right? So from here, okay? Yeah, his name is Jeremy. Come. Jeremy, this is the first time anybody said hi to him, honestly. Like, really.
Who wouldn't want to say hi to Jeremy? Jeremy's the ball.
I know. So this liquid, you can put into, once you get it, you can put into the Epsom salts, okay? And then you just move it around, and this is also going to help skin feel better. So the two things together, the aloe and the Epsom salts in bath water, makes your skin feel better, okay? Everybody clear?
Yep.
Okay. And the only thing from the bag that you can eat is what? Right. You don't eat anything other than the gummy bears.
Oh, I thought you said the only thing you can eat.
No, no, no. The only thing you can eat.
While you're taking it back.
I eat the gummy bears too.
And think of science.
I eat the gummy.
The very, very end of this, if you want to stay around, my dog Bari is a certified therapy dog, and he's very patient. And so we can help people one at a time using a real stethoscope. You can hear his heartbeat. And then we also have a real veterinary otoscope where you can look in his ears. It's got a light on it, and you can put it and look in his ears, and he'll be fine with that. Okay? So that's something at the end. You're going to have to be patient because there's one dog. And there's one stethoscope. And the other thing we have is an infrared thermometer. Does anybody know what that is? No contact? It's a thermometer that can pick up heat waves. You know how you have heat coming off your body, right? It picks it up, and so it doesn't have to touch anything to take its temperature. So we have one of those, so you can point it at his nose, will help you with that, and you can find out his temperature on the outside of his body. Okay? Bari's like, oh dear. He's fine. This is the best day ever, right?
He's so fluffy.
He is fluffy. He's a fluff ball. But that is the only thing that we have left. You're welcome to take these things with you. Only eat the gummy bears. That's it.